Everyone, in this video, let's talk about how to create DroidScript documentations for your plugins using the DroidScript Docs Generator. Okay, so if you are creating DroidScript plugins and you want to follow the DroidScript documentation style, then this video is for you. What are the advantages of using DroidScript Docs Generator to create our documentations? These are the benefits of using the DroidScript Docs Generator. Number one, you focus on your code. DroidScript Docs Generator extracts and parse only the comments, block comments in our source code. And then from that, it will convert those comments into a usable HTML files that can be fed in our plugins. This HTML is JS-styled documentation. It uses the jQuery mobile CSS styling. In this manner, you will be focusing your code and you don't have to waste time in creating your HTML documentations. Everything happens in your source code. Number three is samples are executable. So if you are using DroidScript and go to the documentations, all the samples there are executable within the documentation itself. And last is simple and easy to navigate. We all know that. At the end of this video, you should be able to, number one, correctly format jsdoc markup comments for your plugin source code. This is very important. Later, I will show you the parts of DroidScript documentation HTML page and how to mark up each part in JSDoc annotation comments. Okay, number two, install and use JSDocs extension and VS Code. Me personally and Simbroson has created or collaborated into creating this VS Code extension so that generating documentations for DroidScript is much easier with a click of a button. Okay. Number three is update docs config.json. So this is very important that we know how to add scope in the config.json file. Next is generate actual documentation. So using the Visual Studio Code docs extension, we can generate actual documentation with a click of a button. Next, export plugin. With the exporting done, I will show you how to get the files, the necessary files that we can add into our plugin and compress them into a zip file and install them in our DroidScript application. I have here my plugin. So the folder name is my plugin, and within this folder or within this project, I have three files. My button.js, my plugin.js, and then my text.js. Okay, so the entry point for this plugin of mine is this my plugin.js. As you can see here, this my plugin.js file is a class, and then it has two controls, add my button and add my text. It's just a sample plugin, so it may not work if you create this one in actual scenario, but I am showing you here how to lay out or how to structure your files in order to easily create documentations for our plugins. Okay, so next is I have two files, my button.js and I have my text.js. These are controls return when this add my button is called or this add my text method right here is called. So okay, so those files are loaded via app.script at the top of my code, and then if add my button is called, then it will return a new my button control which is defined in this my button file right here. Okay, so when we open this my button file, we have this heading part here, which is a JSDoc annotation, JSDoc comments with this additional at abbrev and this first line right here. Okay, but we will talk more on that later. Okay, next, we also have here set text and set color methods. Okay, both of them also have JSDoc annotations. Okay, next is the my text control. Okay, the same as the my button, we also have this JSDoc annotation at the top, and we have three methods here, the set text size, and get text methods, which also have their own JSDoc annotations at the top of them. Before everything else, let's first go to DroidScript/docs GitHub repository, and we will discuss the parts of a JSDoc annotation in our source file. Here, I have navigated to the GitHub repository, github.com/docs. Okay, so it has a documentation over here at the bottom, but we are interested in the documentation in the markup folder. So I'll go to the files. Here in the files, I'll go to markup folder. Okay, so I am now in docs files markup folder, and here we have this readme file or this documentation when contributing to this file right here. But we will follow this guide on how to lay down our JSDoc annotation in our source file. For API documentation, use JavaScript file. For general purpose documentation, we can also use markdown file for that. Here we have the parts. This part is very important in creating DroidScript JSDoc annotation. Number one here, we have here the heading, long description, samples, and methods. Okay, so header, long description, samples, and method. So the header looks like this. The header contains information about the control name or the method name, the short description, and initialization. Okay, so this one right here is the DroidScript documentation for the call method. So we have the name of this method or this component, and then this is the short description or the first sentence on that description, then this initialization part. The jsdoc annotation or markup comments for this one will look like this. So we have this jsdoc annotation, and the additional thing here is this text here call, which is wrapped with a single hash, and then at brief, which is a brief description or short description. We have also this initialization part. It says here at the bottom that the line, this one or this one right here, can be omitted because it is provided only for reference. Okay, so we can remove this one. It doesn't affect our actual output for this header right here. Okay, going back into our source files for my button, we have that already at the top. So this one right here will be rendered as header for our documentation. As I said here, this my button is wrapped as a heading, first heading or a single hash. So this will be rendered as the header name. Okay, so it should wrap in single hash. Please note that in your documentation, it is recommended that only one block comment must include this single hash. That block comment that has a single hash in it will be treated as header when extracting the documentation. We have also this at abbrev. Okay, we have no at abbrev here, but this abbreviation is very important. If example, my button equals app.create button. So this is used as small abbreviation or the variable name for our control. And then we have the description and of course our parameter definitions right here. So parameter definition is just very simple. It is very common. So we have at param here, and then enclosed in this curly braces is our data type and the name of the parameter, and then the description of the parameter. Okay, so this is described by the way at the bottom of this readme right here. Okay, parameter data this one. Parameter description, parameter type, name, and description. The type is the data type. Name is the parameter name, and description is the parameter description. Okay, so it is very simple. We all know that as JavaScript developers. Okay, next is we have the long description as described here. The long description, some documentation files have long description below the header or after the initialization. Okay, just like this one, they consist, after this initialization, we have this long description right here. Just create a block comment and add this at description tag in it. Okay, notice that we don't have this asterisk at the left of each line right here. It says here that you can remove the description from the header and prepend it in this long description markup. We can remove this description from the header. So this one right here, we can remove this and we can create a long description and we'll add that right here at the top or prepend here at the first line. It's just the same. Okay, so when writing a long description, you can use the same markdown formatting. Okay, you can use markdown format. Example right there is this set checked text right here. It will be rendered as bold text in our or strong text in our documentation. Okay, next is the methods. I will skip first the samples right here. I'll go to the methods. Okay, here at the bottom, the methods are defined after the header section. After the header section, we have the long description. But if we don't have that long description, we'll have this method section next. This methods looks like this in our documentation. Okay, so how to format this methods right here? Each method here, like adjust color, animate, must have their own jsdoc block comments. So just like this one, we have set text. Set text, we have a jsdoc annotation for that. It is just the same as this header, but the name of that method is enclosed in 3 hashtags. Example, set text. We enclose that one in 3 hash, and it will be treated as a method for this control or for this object. Okay, so it's just the same. We have this method description, and this one right here can be omitted as described previously, and we have our parameter definition. Okay, so you'll know about parameter definition. We also have this method definition for this set size method. You can see this in your DroidScript documentations, markup folder. Okay, set size, since this is the name of the method, it is enclosed in 3 hashtags. If we go back to our plugin, we have that this set text and this set color. Okay, the name of the method starts with 3 hash. Okay, just like the set text and the set color. Okay, so this is added in every block comment so that it will be treated as methods. Okay, so if you have only one hash, it will be treated as header name. Next is the samples. Each sample is wrapped in a sample tags. Any string after the word sample in the opening tag is treated as the sample title. Okay, so the examples can be found at the bottom of each file. They are enclosed in black comment with a tag at sample in it. So if a tag at sample is present in a black comment jsdoc annotation, it is treated as a sample. So example for the zip folder. Okay, we have the sample zip folder right here. It is a black comment jsdoc annotation. And then we have at sample, and after that, this is the title. This is the at sample tag, and this is the sample title. Okay, we have here added our function. Okay, our code. Okay, JavaScript code. The same as the example for the button, the fixed size. We have this jsdoc black comment, and then we have at sample tag. After that, this is the sample title, fixed size, and we have our code right here, JavaScript code for our fixed size button sample. Okay, so just like that, we can create our sample, which is a runnable example or executable example in DroidScript documentations. Here we will create our sample. It is preferred to add the sample at the bottom of each file. So I will create just a sample just like that. I will remove this one, add some space, and then add this at sample tag right here. At sample, my example. Okay, this is the title and this is the sample tag. So we can create this over here, function on start, just any code, maybe console.log, hello world. Okay, so just like that. Okay, I will copy this and create another sample. So I have two samples here, my example 2. Okay, console.log, hello world 2, the same as in the my text. I will copy this example and will paste that here in my text control. Okay, so we have samples added, we have methods added, we have the header description added. But here we don't have a long description. But anyways, you can create your long description just below the header black comment documentation. You can create just like this one, at description. Okay, so this will be treated as long description. You can create as much as many lines here, which can be markdown formatted strings. Okay, anything like that. Okay, but I will remove this one because I already have a description for my control at the top of this file right here. The same one here at my button control. Okay, so we are now ready. Here in the DroidScript Docs GitHub repository, we will clone this repository in our local machine and use this docs generator. Just click this code green button right here that says code, and then copy this GitHub URL and run git clone in your local machine. We all know that you can find many videos here online how to clone this repository, or just download the zip file for this DroidScript/docs repository. I have already cloned this repository in my local machine. So this is the folder docs. I will open this and then open this in Visual Studio Code. When you open the docs project, we will going to open the files folder and then open this markup folder and open this en folders. And we will paste our my plugin source files right here in en folder. I will open that directory and will paste this my plugin folder into docs files markup en. I will just copy this my plugin folder in this en folder. So paste folder. Now I have the my plugin folder here in the en folder with the files in it. Okay, these are the source files with the jsdoc annotations. Okay, opening in the VS Code. Before we generate, we must first go to the files folder, open this conf.json or config.json file, and we will add our scope or our plugin. So right here at the top, in this scopes property or scopes object, just add your scope for your my plugin. So I have here my plugin. Okay, just like that. I have added my plugin here at the top. So we don't have space for that. No space. Okay, so it has no space. My plugin, which is the my plugin name right here. Okay, so we have added our my plugin scope in this config.json file. Now we are all set up and ready to generate our documentation. But before that, I will use the Visual Studio Code DroidScript Docs extension that I have created together with Symbroson to generate docs with a single click of a button. Okay, so go to extensions tab and then search for DroidScript Docs. click this one, this first DroidScript Docs. Okay, so I have installed mine already. You can click install right here, install. Okay, so edit and view DroidScript documentations right here in your Visual Studio Code. Okay, just like that, if you have successfully installed the VS Code extension, just reload your Visual Studio Code and you will have this status bar button right here at generate button. Okay, it will automatically detect that this project, which is currently open, is a DroidScript Docs Generator folder or project. Okay, so it will append this generate docs right here. Okay, if we open our My Plugin file, we don't have that generate docs button right here because this is not the docs generator project that we have. If we click this generate button, it will extract the jsdoc annotations from all of my files, or this My Plugin files. It will extract this jsdoc annotations and export them into a usable DroidScript styled HTML. Okay, so if you click this one, it will open this prompt at the top. Just select generate. It will parse first all the jsdoc annotation and then generate actual HTML from that. It runs all the files. It says that my plugin missing ret type for my plugin.mybutton. If we go to our my button, we don't have at return right here. I will add at return here. I will just say object for now. Object. The same with the my text. At returns object. And then click this one again at the bottom and generate. Okay, let's see if we have errors. Okay, so just like that, we don't have errors. And now, our plugin documentation has been extracted from our source files. Those generated files are now located in open out folder now. And this docs, and then latest, we have the My Plugin HTML files here in this My Plugin folder. So if we open this My button, it will render the DroidScript styled documentation for our My button control. Okay, just like this one, just like that. If we open also this My text, we have our header, we have our sample, we have our methods right here at the bottom. We don't have an entry point for our My Plugin documentation. To create an entry point or home page for our plugin or for this button and text control, in this AN folder, I will create a My Plugin, the same name right here, my plugin navs.json. Okay, so I will just copy this navs.json of UI. Okay, paste that in my plugin navs.json, and I will remove all this one, and I'll just add all with an array, empty array right here. Okay, so this one right here is if you want to categorize your plugin documentation for each control. Okay, and we'll generate this again. Let's see if we have that entry point or for our plugin. Okay, so 100% done. We'll go to our out, docs, latest, and then here at the bottom, we have my plugin and my plugin all. If you click this my plugin, we have this. If you click this all, we don't need this my plugin because this is the entry point. Just delete this my plugin code right here and generate again. Okay, so it is done. We'll navigate again to that latest folder, out, docs, latest, and then open this my plugin.htm. So we have our my plugin. Okay, click this all. We have this my button and my text right here. Okay, so just like that, we have created our my plugin documentations that follows DroidScript style documentations that we have. So since we have that files, we can add that to our plugin right here. Okay, so if I generate this plugin, I will need to add this my plugin all, and I plug in folder right here. So copy this one and paste that in our my plugin source code. Okay, so we have this entry point, my plugin.htm, and also my plugin-all, and it will point to our my button.htm in this my plugin folder. Okay, just like that. We can also rename this one to .html if you like. Select all this one and then compress this, and then rename this into my plugin. Just like that, we have created our DroidScript plugins with its own documentations that is generated using DroidScript Docs Generator.